Werner Reich, a Holocaust survivor, was this week invited by the Hong Kong Holocaust and Tolerance Center to give talks in both Hong Kong and Macau. And yesterday, Reich spoke to a packed auditorium of students and teachers about his life experiences and advised his audience to not be bystanders in the face of injustice. This is a special report in which viewer discretion is advised. Now 90 years old and an unassuming older gentleman, Werner Reich would seem like anybody's grandfather. What sets him apart from other people, though, is that he is a Holocaust survivor. Using his experience as a survivor, Reich now spends a majority of his time traveling and talking to young people about his message of not being a bystander in the face of bullying or injustice. Werner was born in Berlin, Germany in 1927. And due to anti-Jewish laws in 1933, his father, who was an engineer, lost his job. The family escaped to Zagreb, Yugoslavia. In 1941, Hitler invaded the country as well as Croatia, which forced Reich to live in hiding with two families until 1943, when he was found, arrested, and beaten by the Gestapo. After being imprisoned, he was transferred to Terezin concentration camp. In May of 1944, Reich was transferred to Auschwitz-Birkenau, also known as the extermination camp, where an estimated number of over 1.3 million people were killed. After suffering extreme horrors at the Terezin and Auschwitz camps and a 7-day death march, Reich was in the Mauthausen concentration camp in Austria when American forces liberated the camp on May 5, 1945. Years later, he married the love of his life, had 2 children, graduated from college, and worked as an industrial engineer. Reich is now a retired public speaker with a love for magic, a love he attributes to his Auschwitz bunkmate, Herbert Levine.
When I came to Auschwitz, I bunked with him. I was sleeping next to him. And one day he came, one day I climbed up to the bunk, and there he was sitting with a deck of cards, which was a matter of impossibility. You know, how the hell do you get any cards? You know, because we had absolutely nothing. We didn't have a pencil or paper or anything. And he was shuffling the cards, and then he showed me a card trick. And first time in my life I ever saw a card trick. And from that point on, I got involved in magic, and then I took lessons, and so on. And I became a member of the International Brotherhood of Magicians, and I'm also a member of the Psychic Entertainers Association. So all this started with one lousy card trick. From that, I, started to develop an interest in magic, and the old saying holds true. There is a very, very fine line between a hobby and insanity.
Very true.
Okay.
At the University of Macau yesterday, Reich spoke to a packed auditorium about his life and the horrors he witnessed, while also peppering his talk with little jokes so as to keep the atmosphere less somber.
Humor helped me a lot because in the final analysis, it sort of shows you that things are really not as bad, and that you can't do anything about certain things, that this is what happens. You know, this is part of life. Life is that things are happening. You know, not everything, thank God, goes exactly the way we plan. Life would be very, very boring if things would always happen the way we plan, because we have a limited imagination, and what life gives us is the surprises, the different opportunities, the different things that are happening.
When asked how Reich was able to live his life without any anger or resentment for what happened to him, he said that no matter what he endured, his life was wonderful.
I was never angry. I was grateful to be out of the camp. My biggest annoyance was that I lost years. That's the biggest annoyance. But beyond that, angry. When I compare myself to all the millions who died, and I've seen them and all my friends who died, and I've seen the people walking to the gas chambers, who the hell am I to complain? I have absolutely no right to complain. Life has been good to me. Life has been very, very, very good to me. I'm reasonably healthy. I had a wonderful, wonderful marriage. I have two wonderful sons. I have two wonderful daughters-in-law who are absolutely fabulous. I have grandchildren. No, life has been good to me. Life has been very good to me.
Reich believes that if people had spoken up about the atrocities that were beginning to take place during the war, the Holocaust would not have happened at all. Werner Reich's goal for his talks in various schools around the world, including yesterday's at is for kids to be just individuals and not be bystanders in the face of injustice.
I've been going to schools and speaking a lot in schools, and even if I have no grandchildren, I find it important for the students to whom I speak. I'm talking about their safety, their future. Life to me is beautiful, and it's up to them to continue making it beautiful. You know, that's the very, very important part. And it's a very, very simple advice. I'm not asking them to give me money. I'm not asking them to go and storm the barricades or whatever else. I'm just saying, open your damn mouth. That's it. They open their mouths at every other occasion. Open it when it's important. If everybody just says a little bit, it's going to be a big, big voice. And that voice is always heard.